Feminism Ruined My Love Life by Akkad Daily channel. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let's watch it.
I have for you a story of feminist regret that is so perfect, you're going to think I'm making it up. It has everything, absolutely everything that the ridiculous men were saying would come about to women as they got older, and it is all contained in this. And honestly, I mean, it's so perfect. I'm wondering if I'm being pranked.
This is really real. Like, it's the perfect example of a future of a feminist. Like, I regret belittling men. Belittling? I don't know how if I spelled right. I regret belittling men at God. 63 years old. I've ended up alone. I had always imagined I would end up married with 2 wonderful children and living in a house in the countryside. I have paid a hefty price for my so-called liberation. And as always, as you guys can imagine, I bet you're not gonna see this repercuting like on the mainstream media or, many places, because this is not interest to them. Because this was never about empowerment of women, but to destroy them and destroy men and destroy society in general. Destroy even the kids with that in the process. To destroy everything. And this is why I always think that, in my opinion, the feminism is the worst of all the agendas that they have on the woke side.
But this is in the iPaper, this, left-wing rag, obviously. And this is Kate Mulvaney. And she explains to us the course and trajectory of her life and how exactly she ended up alone. And in her mind, it was because she belittled men.
Oh,
she says, at 63, I've ended up alone. I'd always imagined I would end up married with 2 wonderful children and living in a house in the countryside. I've paid a hefty price for my so-called liberation. Right. So, feminism.
Kate has had a successful career as a writer and broadcaster, but regrets never having children or being married. This says even more about it. Like, it's really, like you said, it's the perfect example. I wonder what type of writer she is. I don't even want to look up, to be honest.
Entirely was wrong about what you wanted out of your life. I mean, if you'd always imagined that you'd end up married with 2 children and living in a house in the countryside with your husband, what about that is feminist? Like, that seems to be the very opposite of feminism, doesn't it? It seems to be the very opposite of what feminism was promising, which you add at the end is liberation. So, I mean, all I'm saying is, shouldn't you be angry at the people who...
But wait. Calm down. She had liberation, okay? She had liberation of having a wonderful family, of having a lovely husband, of having many kids. She had the liberation of all of that. She was, they were a liar at this point. She was really liberated, She's all liberated now, as much as she wants. She's so liberated now that she can even lock herself on this anymore. Like, she doesn't have the time anymore. The Kronos himself is against her.
Sold you down the river on this. And I like the fact that you're warning younger women. By the way, this will be you. This will be your future if you follow the trajectory I've followed. She gives a really interesting story. Really interesting. A few years ago, she's on holiday with a then boyfriend in Italy, and she speaks Italian. She did French and Italian for her higher education. And so she sat there talking to the waiter in Italian, while her boyfriend, who obviously doesn't speak Italian, is just...
I don't think he's gonna read, so it doesn't look like he's gonna read, since he looks to be summarizing everything. So I will read this. A few years ago, I went to Italy with my then boyfriend, James. As we sat trucking into a plate of frutti di mare at a seaside restaurant, I struck up a conversation with the waiter in Italian while I was of course you did. Of course you did. While I was enjoying myself, James sat gloomily and fiddled awkwardly with his phone. Back in the hotel room, he asked why I had ignored him. By speaking in a language he didn't oh, Jesus Christ, look at what she done. She was with her freaking boyfriend in a restaurant. And like her boyfriend doesn't speak Italian. And she suddenly stopped talking the language that her boyfriend knows and starts to flirt in Italian with the, oh Jesus Christ, oh hell no, man. Like, it really, just, it's everything so perfect that it really feels like it's made up. For real. If it wasn't formatted in a website, like if it is a news or etc., it would be way less credible. Yeah, I think it's credible. Jesus Christ. I could see his points. I spent quite a while chatting away, obvious to how he must be feeling. I then went on the joke that as the Italian speaker, I would order for us. After all, he didn't know what ossobuco could mean. I was showing off. It wasn't the first time something like this had happened to me. I have always taken the driving seat, being determined to get the last word, and was too busy with books to master the art of charm. I'm convinced that the reason I'm still booking a table for one at the age of 63 instead of having settled with a significant other is because, like so many women of my generation, feminism has ruined my love life. It's not just your love life, it's your entire life, okay? It shows already that you didn't pay attention to all the other stuff that it's not related to just your love life. Instead of empowering us, those ideals of the second wave feminists made us believe marriage and domesticity were to be avoided like the plague, and that men were competition rather than partners. Oh, wow! Wow, it just took like 63 years for her to understand that. What an amazing concept, right? What an amazing it's the future awaiting all of the others as well. I might have a successful career as a writer and broadcaster, but I have never had children or be married, and my longest relationship lasted 8 years.
Sat there being bored.
Jesus Christ.
And back in the hotel room, he asked why I had ignored him.
No.
By speaking in a language he didn't understand, he said I had managed to make him feel small. I could see his point. I spent quite a while chatting away, oblivious to how he must be feeling. Then I went on to joke that as the Italian speaker I would order for us. After all, he didn't know what osso buco meant. I was showing off. This wasn't the first time something like this had happened to me. I've always taken the driving seat, been determined to get the last word, and was too busy with books to master the art of charm. I'm convinced that the reason I'm still booking a table for one at the age of 63 instead of having settled with a significant other is because, like so many women of my generation, feminism has ruined my love life. We told you so.
Yeah, and it just took 63
I don't want
years
to be
to her to
mean
learn
about
so.
this. I don't want to rub it in, right? This person is having a moment, an epiphany, where they realise, oh wait, I was lied to my whole
Kind of
life.
late epiphany.
And it made me into the kind of person who was actually really unpleasant. And I really regret becoming that unpleasant person. And so feminism has ruined my love life. Feminism denied her the husband she wanted, the children she wanted, the grandchildren she wanted. Feminism did this to her. And again, like, this is just so word for word perfect. Like, this is the sort of thing you'd expect to see, like, a manosphere guy write on Reddit, that posing as an old woman, saying, yeah, feminism ruined my love life because they want to attack feminism. But this is not the case. This is an established feminist author. She's had a successful career as a writer and broadcaster, but regrets never having children or being married. Well, because feminism ruined your love life. because literally that thing that you took on as a religion has ruined your life. Instead of empowering us, those ideals of the second wave feminists made us believe that marriage and domesticity were to be avoided like the plague and that men were competition rather than partners. Oh, this sounds like an MRA wrote it, like in 2014. And this is crazy how just open she is about how this has been bad for people. I might have a successful career as a writer or a broadcaster, but I've never had children or been married, and my longest relationship lasted 8 years. I regret this. I always imagined... I regret this. I had always imagined that I would end up married with 2 wonderful children living in a house in the countryside. I have paid a hefty price for my so-called liberation. And then she tells us how this all came about. And when you think about it, why were we permitting this? Why were we permitting this ideology to be pumped into the soft heads of teenagers, as Yuri Bezmenov would say? And she literally tells us, at 17, I was a pupil at Godolphin and Latimer, one of Britain's most academic institutions, when I was introduced to the women's liberation movement. It offered such hope and excitement. We spent our lunch break soaking up the feminist mantras of Germaine Greer and Betty Friedan.
She's the embodiment of the results of all the journey of a feminist woman herself. Like, she's the perfect example in all the senses, it seems.
Act like men they cried as they burnt their bras and demonized housework in the family. Well, men don't demonize housework in the family. Men, especially not the family. I mean, I don't enjoy doing housework. I don't do all that much housework, thank goodness. But that's because I'm the breadwinner for my family. And my wife doesn't have to have a job. And so the housework is done by her mostly. I do some, obviously, when something needs doing or whatever. But the family is a cooperative unit. Like, why would you demonize the best thing that you'll have in your life? And at the end of it, you're just like, you know what? Kind of regretting I didn't have a family. Because I think really what people actually want is to belong. They just want to feel like they belong somewhere. And there's nowhere more firm that you belong than with your family. That's the tightest form of belonging. That is the nexus of the smallest unit of the little platoon, as Burke would put it, which then radiates outwards into your neighborhood, your community.
And don't get me wrong, I don't think like she's repainting all the good, juicy stuff of the feminists. She is only pissed off because at the end she couldn't get what she wanted. She wanted the best of the 2 worlds. But what she doesn't understand is what you have choices. And to get some good stuff, you have to, some quote unquote good stuff that they judge should be good. You have to lose something. You will lose something. In return, your actions have actual consequences. Who would imagine that all of your actions have consequences, right? Even the government's making so much effort to take all the consequences out of people nowadays. Actions have consequences. Who would thought that? Who would imagine this, right? So she's reaping what she saw, but what I want to say, what I want to mean by that is that what she's actually repenting is not being successful. It's like making concrete all of her desires. It's not like she's pissed off with feminism. It doesn't seem like she is aware that feminism is the cause, but it's not like she would want to open the hand, take away all of the other benefits that she had as well. She wanted everything. She wanted everything, and this is not possible. I mean, some still end up getting everything, but because life is not fair. But even so, I don't think that it will happen with the majority, But even so, she will still pay the toll somehow. Maybe not as the level as she's paying here, but some way or another. But The point is that I want to talk about this is like she's 63 years now. And probably what she's repenting the most again is about herself. It's not about the others. It's not about. Of course, everyone has their own interests, so I cannot exactly blame her like that for that. But the why she's missing a family now, it's because she's getting older, and she will die alone, and she will not have, she will not have kids that should be at this point like grown adults that would probably help her in her needs because she is becoming like a hag, and within some years she will probably will be slow, will not be able to work to herself anymore. And if even she didn't save like for for her retirement, or even sometimes the retirement is not an I don't know, US here is very common you depend on other people when you get old, because the retirement it's never enough, and it's not everyone that get retirement, and there is a lot of problems. There is a lot of problems. So you have to depend on your kids and etc. When you get old, that are already adults at this point, to help you with your needs. And so what I'm trying to say is that this is also about narcissism and egocentrism. Like she's repenting because of the things that she could get out of her family now at this point as a favors, like of her not child, adult sons and daughters. I'm sorry, at this point, and oh my god, and of the husband, of course. Yeah.
And your country. And the idea that you should be like, oh yeah, I want to be taken out of that, actually. I want to be removed from that. And in fact, turn into the kind of person who can't generate that. So I end up alone and not actually having any of the things that the family brings you. That's an evil thing. This is just an evil thing that these women have done to her. And we just allowed it. We just allowed this attack on the family. By the time I was 25, clutching a degree in French and Italian, I was a bright, confident feminist, keen to flex her intellectual muscles and never let a man get the last word. What's the point? What's the point? I read Nietzsche for fun, and my bedside table is always buckled under the weight of substantial, intellectually challenging books. At first, men loved my wit and intelligence. You're such a breath of fresh air. I love talking to you. You're the first woman I've met who stimulates me. What did you learn from Nietzsche, just out of interest? I'm very curious what your takeaway from Nietzsche was. Just saying. That was until I had lectured them for the umpteenth time on the virtues of modern.
What? He reads? No, freaking way. No, freaking way. No. I'm sorry, I was lost in my thoughts here for a second. I can't believe that, because it doesn't make sense. It's not on the same words. One thing doesn't belong to another. To her feminist self to be reading Nietzsche. I mean, she's oh god, no, it's not. If she's reading, she's like reading like that person that read an entire book and doesn't learn anything without, just went through a book, went to, because most times the people drop, and like at the end it didn't. The person didn't absorb nothing at all, because or wasn't interested in what was written, or was reading very fast, just to say, oh, I read this book and etc. Because there are people out there that are just interested in how many books they can read and stuff like this. I'm not a reader myself. I am not. You guys may think I am, that I'm not a reader. I prefer watching videos. Reading is not a thing for me, really. It was, I used it to read when I was a bit younger, like a few years ago, like 3, maybe 4 years ago. I used it to read a lot, I remember. Maybe because I was used to, because of school and etc. Now I have college, but maybe, you know what? I think maybe college like took my interest in reading, Yeah, because I have to do so much stuff and read so much stuff, things that I don't want to, but because I have to, to get my degree and etc. But they are not interested, and I'm forced because it's the package of it's not about what I wanted to know. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't matter to the career itself. It's meaningless. And I think this took away my interest in reading and etc. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't. But I lost interest in reading.
Modernism. You'll never win an argument against Kate, one man said as he watched me outsmart yet another potential lover. Subtext, don't bother. Well, I mean, I could make a lot of arguments against the virtues of modernism, highlighting its vices. In fact, you are the victim of one of its vices, this eternal quest for the so-called liberation. I don't think it is liberating, actually. I think this is actually what we did to punish people. We called it exile, and now you are living in a self-imposed exile from belonging to a family. What a terrible thing. Men have called me intimidating, scary, and opinionated. And I see now that I was only trying to prove I was their intellectual equal or superior. I was treating every encounter with a man like he was my adversary. Who persuaded you of that? Do you not have any thoughts about how Jermaine Gray, should you not be writing articles? Don't believe these liars.
And I also think that even though she realized that, if she was able to get a man now, because of what she's stating here, and to be her husband and etc., she wouldn't change a thing about how she is. Like she will still treat him bad and etc., and try to compete with him, and because it's not because she consciously knows that she would bring that to the relationship. I think it's totally different things. It's not because that she said that she realized that, and you can and one thing that I noticed that I think most of you didn't. She didn't repent all the feminism. She repented like the second wave. Did you guys pay attention on that? She was very specific on that, and I think she's thinking that the reason she doesn't have a husband or a family or and kids, a family by now, it's because the second wave that demonized the man, and it's not about that, but it's because of the other ways, like for example the one that brought to women like promiscuity and sexual liberation, and within contraceptives and all of this stuff. This is also the reason that she cannot get her husband and by effective family. And she doesn't realize that because what? Because she wants everything. It's like I said, she still wants the sexual liberation. She wants everything. She wants everything that she can get. She thinks that the only problem was because she was making men as her competitors and etc. But this is part of the problem, not entirely. So she's just blaming the second wave of feminism. And I think that the text, it's really only like highlighting this. She's thinking she's losing all the other parts. It's very clear for me that even if she got a husband, she wouldn't change a goddamn thing.
Going to ruin your life.
Also because most of her actions would come up as in a very unconscious level. Like she would, because we do react more by emotions actually than, and like she was trained to be a feminist her entire life. So how do you think she would react to all the daily routine with a partner? The way that she has been reacting with all the other partners she had her entire life, the exact same way. Of course, later on, when she relaxed, she would reflect because consciously now she's aware of that. But I don't think in the if you compare all the sides of it, I don't think she would have a different result even if she started a new relationship.
Like
now.
They ruined mine. That's what I would be.
She's ruined. She's ruined because her mind is ruined already. It's our many years of feminism. She cannot get it out of her head just because she realized it's fault of feminism.
Writing, if I were you, I'd be desperately trying to warn young women, don't do this. This is crazy. I mean, I suppose that's what this article is, but I'd be a lot more forthright about it. If a date bought me a bouquet of flowers...
It's the same as you going to a doctor and the doctor say that you're gonna die because you have a metastasis, level of cancer. And it's not because you are aware of the cancer now that the cancer will go away. It is still will murder you in the end. It will kill you, oh my God, the cancer murdering it's really weird. But yeah, you were still gonna die from that. And I think it's the same thing. Like, she realized that, but it's already terminal, She will not change anymore. It's too late. Also because of our neuroplasticity, that the older you get, the most hard is for you to change your behaviors, It's all
Instead
of
of smiling and putting them in a vase of water, I would bite the head off. Can't you buy me some nice olive oil or balsamic vinegar? I said with an eye roll to one hapless suitor as he stood wilting fast in the fragrant offering he held in his hand. He had bothered to think about making me happy, and I crushed him for it. Well, this is the thing. If you're taught that men are the enemy, well, you tend to dehumanize your enemies, right? You've decided they're just something that needs to be crushed. I placed so much importance on finding a strong man who could match me. I forgot men are people with feelings. Incredible. They might be people with feelings. Maybe we can have a scientific investigation into this. Indeed. So I'm trying not to mock, because it is nice that she's just coming out and been like, yeah, okay, you were right about everything. You were right about everything. I'm trying not to mock. But it's just one of those things where it's like, I mean, come on. I see now that I longed to be... I forgot I had feelings and hid my softness. I now see that I longed to be loved, but I was too scared to be vulnerable. I was using my sharp mind to protect my all-too-soft heart against yet further rejection. Yet another thing I deeply regret is the tally of one-night stands I had when I was younger. This again, it could be written... If this was found on Reddit, you'd be like, this isn't real. Someone has made this up. Someone is faking being an old woman who regrets. And that's the thing, though. Like, actually, it is tempting to fall into a defensive posture, right? Like, when you get your heart broken, everyone remembers the first time they had their heart broken. And it's very painful. Because you think you have something magical with someone that can't ever be found again. And then that gets pierced. And that's a very painful thing. Very painful. And it's difficult not to become cynical. And if you have a fully fledged philosophy that can tell you why you can basically be cynical about this, well, I can see why someone would lean into it. Anyway, she says, I regret my tally of one-night stands when I was younger. I distinctly remember thinking it would make me uncool to say no to the men I met at parties or dated, but I struggled to enjoy it. What a shock. There was always a disconnect. It was abundantly clear the morning after, as I lay there waiting for a sign of affection, that he would be singingly triumphant, had her sung in the shower, a quick cheerio, and he was gone. While I pretended to enjoy it, I felt uncomfortable about sex so early on. I felt empty and used. Now, this is a kind of attitude that the feminists of her generation have transmitted just to young women now of this generation. And I've read lots of accounts, and I've seen like TikTok videos of young women being like, I don't know why he's not calling me back. I let him do anal on the first date. It's like, why would you think that's appropriate? Like, why would you think that was a good idea? Like, why would he call you back? Like, this is like, it is mad how this kind of act like a gay man has been transmitted to a certain percentage of women in older generations, and is just kind of normal for a lot of women now. And they wonder why they're not getting what they want. It's like, well, all I'm saying, right, is that we are going to have a return to tradition, right? We are going to have a return to the old roles of the men and women, right? That's going to come in some way, whether we choose it or not. Because frankly, I don't think feminism is going to survive the economic collapse, the demographic collapse it's caused. So we're going to get it in some way or another. And it would be better to just have it voluntarily. It'd be better if we were like, yeah, actually, women should have morals when it comes to sexual availability, and men should be told no, basically. Men should have to work for it. Men should have to commit to a woman before they get to this point. And that will just be better for everyone. That absolutely will be better for everyone. And this is what she is telling us. This is what she is telling us. All of this modern feminist nonsense, this was bad for the people involved, for her, for her future. This was not good. I mean, look at this. My generation of women were encouraged to have sex like a man. In other words, have casual sex, but it backfired. Fast forward to now, the idea that women are different from men and that casual sex can be harmful to us is gaining traction. And she cites Louise Perry, who has been doing a great job on this and is also right. It's obviously correct that it's not good for women's psyches. But moreover, it's not good for men either. Right? This has deformed the dating market. Having apps that are just hookup apps so that a very small percentage of men have sex with lots of different women and loads of men basically never have relationships is not good for anyone. Right? This is not good and we shouldn't be doing it. And this is what's ruining things. She informs us that Louise Perry thinks that casual sex, dating apps, pornography and the normalization of sexual kinks are putting women at risk. And she believes that society would benefit from returning to traditional values about sex. And how is she wrong? You are the example. You are literally telling us here that actually, yeah, this was all a big mistake and we shouldn't have done it. We should have been more cautious about changing such a fundamental way in which men and women interact, because there were going to be consequences to that. And she's now stuck with the consequences. What can she do? This is what she is trapped
in the end,
with.
she's
trapped in.
Reaping what she
And
saw.
but she says, don't get me wrong, I'm not advocating a return to the 1950s. Why not? Women were happier in the...
Because of what I said before, she only repents what's interesting to her. The second wave, you know? She is only interested in getting rid of this because this, in her opinion, is what like screwed the man-woman relationship and etc. But it's not that. You have to open hand like of everything. I don't know if this expression serves on English. Open hand. It's like get away with all the. It's the same as get away with all the bullshit, all the stuff. You know. You have to open the hand for. I don't know if it's the same. I just spoken because it's a costume here. I'm sorry, but with that explains like she just want to get rid of what is interesting to her with the second wave. She didn't realize that all the rest is also damaging relationships, you know, and you know families in consequence. Which means that she didn't learn anything at all with this. With
the 1950s.
She still wants the sexual liberation, mainly that. And she wants all the freedom, all the irresponsibilities and no accountabilities that she can take. You know, she wants all of that. But she realized that if she takes all of that, she will end up alone as she did up until now, you know. And she's thinking, oh, I think after all these 63 years, that if we took away just the second wave of feminism, you know, just a little one, things will all get good. No.
60-year-old women had husbands in the 1950s. Like this is not a bad way to live. Like I'm just saying. Like my nan was a very happy woman. She was married for both my nans, married their entire lives and happy women. Anyway, she says, don't get me wrong, I'm not advocating a return to the 1950s when women were on the shelf by 30 and getting a suitable husband was their goal in life. But I just don't see why getting a suitable husband isn't a good goal in life. And for men, getting a suitable wife is a good goal in life. And I've seen loads of people posting about this. I saw Chris Williamson of Modern Wisdom tweeting about this the other day, saying, look, think about the way that she is and not just how hot she is, which, okay, yeah, true. But even then, that's still missing the point. Like, you should be looking for that person with whom you can create a shared piece of magic, with whom the story that you build together is your own collectively. This person whom to you is this unique and magical thing in the world going forward. That's truly what romance is. Like the problem that Chris has with what he's saying there is it's still analytic, right? He's still not speaking from the heart. Like, he needs to think about who was that woman who he still thinks of all these years later. You know, who was that one woman, and is she available? You know, that's the woman that he should be romancing, rather than looking at things through a kind of utilitarian lens. I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, it'd be very useful. You found someone that was very nice and you liked them. They were the person that you were romantically for, but it's really got to be built on what, in a cliche, I'm going to say, is just called love, rather than what is practically useful. You have to genuinely love that person, and the thing is, you'll change yourself for that person. You'll want to do those things that they want because you love them. Anyway, she says, I wonder if by refusing to show any chinks in my intellectual armor, I'm the one who's losing out. It's like, you clearly are, which is why you're writing this article. Whilst I will never be a giggly man pleaser and have no intention of playing second fiddle to a man, the confidence signals I've been giving out all these years were at odds with what was going on inside. Well, have you considered that actually it's not wrong to play second fiddle to a man because you are a woman and you do different things to a man? Like, you're still in the feminist frame of, hang on a second, I still have to be the one in charge. Now, I mean, at 63, I imagine that makes your dating life a little bit more difficult, but you haven't changed. I've learned to step back and let things go. I've realized things mustn't always veer towards the satisfaction of the self. I'm struck by how easy and peaceful it is to let my date's boyfriends take the lead. It is not a case of dumbing down or morphing into a Stepford woman. Again, what would be wrong with that? But simply dialing down a bit of me and letting them shine. FYI, my diary's wide open. Go on, I dare you. Yeah, I bet it is. But isn't that interesting as well? Because that's another genre of TikTok video that I've seen where, you know, it's women walking around with their boyfriends. They're like, I get.
She's probably still having access only to very desperate and insecure men at her age, probably. And if she's still playing games, things could be a little bit better for her if she, like, not be, to be honest, nothing will fix the problem anymore at this point, because even if she was playing easy game, like the guy just go and say what he wants and etc., she would probably just be seen as a sex partner for a easy sexual night or whatever it is, and nothing for to build her family anymore. So it doesn't matter if even if she makes things easier for men to approach, the easiest as possible. She would still be seen as a partner for life, you know? Yeah, because men would probably be targeting at this age, around her age, like younger women around 30. I mean, I'm talking about men about her age, like 60 or 50. They would be targeting women around 30, 35, 40. You know, not women around 60, you know. That's how it is. Or even worse, in those cases like we see out there, like 60, 70 year old man with a 20-year-old girl, you know. It's
to turn my brain off and just, you know, do go around in this little happy days because I've got my boyfriend with me and he'll take care.
The game really changes. The game really changes within time for man and woman. No one can deny
difficult things. And it's like, that's a lot of what men are for, is that, by the way. So and again, I covered this the other day. Women are feeling anxious and stressed because they are taking upon their own shoulders the burden of being not only breadwinners, but also the kind of navigators of their own lives on their own. And it's like, okay, well, that didn't have to be the case. And as she says here, I'm struck by how easy and peaceful it feels to let my dates and boyfriends take the lead. There is a natural way that the world works for a reason. Nature has designed us for specific roles. It has crafted us to find satisfaction in these things. and to be at peace when we're doing these things. A man is never happier than when he is providing for his family. Just saying. Literally, every man who's married and has to make sure that the food's on the table at the end of the day, the rent is paid and the mortgage is paid, and that everything is done how it ought to be done, gets up happily in the morning to go and earn the money to do it. Every man. Even if he hates his job, he's like, no, I need to do this. I need to do it for them. That's how he shows his love. And you can show your love by doing things that women do. And you can say, well, this is just very traditional. It's like, maybe it is. Maybe it is very traditional, but it's good for us and it works.
Before we go any further, I want to take this brief moment here to thank all of you, my patrons, for the incredible support to my work here on YouTube, and especially my three-tailed fox Tire members, Wolony Wolf, Heath Rowell, Fenny Sylvy, Zalost, Taiashi, and Zaela Zhezzaia. Thank you very, very much. You guys are amazing. Also, thanks to all of you who supported me through Ko-Fi or Tron. Thank you very, very much. You can support this channel live and grow with just $5 a month and gain access to many perks. This is less than a burrito. Check out my Patreon. Link is in the description below. No, it's not what she wants. It's not what she's aiming clearly. Yeah, this is what I think. This is what she showed on this article. Yeah, this is what I think. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Check the links below. Patreon, Discord, Ko-Fi, and Tron. Support me, please, so I can get the freaking out of this terrible, evil, destructive country. There is mine, and use Ko-Fi for that mainly, but you can also use Patreon as well. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a nice week. Bye. And that's it for today, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Ja, mata ne!